Hey everyone, welcome to the Volleyball Data Lab. I'm your host, Tyler Widdison, and I've got our studio fired up, ready to dive into some serious data learning. As the former performance analyst for USA Beach Volleyball, I know firsthand the importance of being able to handle loads of data. In this series, we will break down the use of R so it becomes easier to use. So get ready to spike your data skills. Let's get started. All right, part 4. We're going to dive a little deeper. We talked about selecting. We talked about distinct. I want to grab this data, but I don't want to use that. Control Shift N for a new window. A useful trick. I don't want that comment there. Control D to delete a row, or a line code. Load data, because we want clean data. Right, okay. So we're going to talk about, wow, that's an earthquake. We're going to talk about grouping. So but first, I want to get distinct players from teams. All right, so I'm going to say players. I'm creating an object. I want to say players, and I'm going to say df pipe, and I am going to, and there's different ways, I think. Yeah, that's right, okay. I'm going to say df distinct team player name. Now when I run that, I have all the players, right? It's easy to look at. There's ways you can sort it and arrange it. We're not going to worry about that right now. That's not our goal here. Our goal here is to talk about grouping. So I want to group. I think most of my matches are from Washington State. So I want to group Washington State, right? I just want to see which player had some attacks, a lot of attacks, let's say. We're not going to do any filtering yet, just grouping, that's it. So I actually probably didn't need to do that now that I think of it. But that is a way to create an object with additional data from a select or a distinct, which is actually not a bad information to have. So I'm going to say df pipe group by. This you take the group of something and you apply it to the object, or you take the object and you say, object, give me this group. What group? Players, teams, skills, attack combos, blocks, details, details of receptions, score difference. You're grouping by whatever it is you can think of, basically. You can create new columns and group by whatever you created. You can group by opponent. That's an interesting way to look at opponents' attacking percentage versus specific teams. It gets a little hairy. Anyway, group by, I'm going to say team and player name. Sometimes R will help you out with that. And then you can say count. And then that will return the number of rows this player was in for California Berkeley. Right? So now if I were to do yeah, let's leave it team first. Let's go, actually I'm going to go to skill. So it's interesting. One note, when you do group by, so if I were to do, so as you can see right here, it's team and then player name. Right here, team and then player name. So the order of the columns is the same as up here. So if I do that, check that out, player name and then team. So that is actually important when you're starting to build markdown reports. It's a useful trick for when you want things ordered in a certain way, but you don't want to have to. So say like you do a group and then like a bunch of calculations and then an ungroup and then a group and then a bunch of calculations. It's going to screw up, or not screw up. It's going to arrange the columns however it is it's arranged. So you can manipulate or you can take out lines, because if you do the select function, it will put it in the order you say, unless there's a group applied to the pipe that has not been ungrouped. It's kind of complicated, but basically a grouping in the order that you want it to appear in will return it not only in alphabetical order from the first one. It will can't remember where my thought was going with that, but it will group to alphabetical order the way you want it. So I want I want to look at excuse me, let's do it this way. Let's say player name skill team. Let's see what that does. All right. So that returns the player name in alphabetical order. So I want the team in alphabetical order. So let's do team player name. A trick, if you hit Control backspace, that will erase the whole thing. Kind of nice. And we want to have clean code, right? No extra white spaces. Now if I do that, now you can see it's going to do that. So now if we do another pipe, check that out, another pipe, and then hit View, that will bring up our Excel type of table right within R. And from here, you can see the skills, and N is the number of occurrences that had that group, or that for what, excuse me, N is the number of is the count of skills or skills performed by a specific team and player. Right. So some of these do have NA because there are timeouts. Some of these do have NA because there's also another NA. And there are ways to deal with the NAs. We're not going to talk about that yet. And I said that before. So Washington State, here we go. So Ashley Twig, no. Casey, not very many. Claire had a bit more. Looks like Haley, 37. I think our setter. I think we found our setter here at Haley. Are there two Haleys? There are. That was confusing. Haley setting Haley. Kyra had a ton of attacks, 82 within those 3 matches. McKenna, 95. Anyone above 100? Coming to the end here. Nope. So there you go. That's a group by in the simplest form. If you wanted to, let's see here. Is there anything interesting we could group by? Let's just dabble in one more group by real quick. Let's see. We could probably say what's the rotation called again? I forget. Setter. Let's try this again. Set description. Home setter position. That's another video we'll have to make, is getting the setter position for each of the rows for their respective team. Because right now you don't know what rotation. You don't know. You only have the home team rotation and the away team rotation. So it gives it to you every single time. So if you look at this, right, if we go like this, look at the team name in order. So it's going to return. So the team, Washington State, I don't know if they're home or away, number one. Number two, since I don't know if they're home or away, I don't know if they're who the home team rotation or the visiting team rotation is. Yeah, so you got to know that stuff if you want to do some stuff, right? That makes sense. There's something else we could go through later. Anyway, so interesting grouping. Like maybe we could do serving team. Like if you want DF group by match ID, home team. Oh wait, serving team, and then another pipe count, and another pipe view. That didn't really tell us much, did it? But it can tell you. Oh, it returns the serving team. You got to do some filtering with the groups. Otherwise, because it's returning every time the occurrence happens. I don't think there's anything that indicates. Yeah, that's okay. That's all good. You have to do filtering. But that's another video. So this is grouping in the simplest form.